Hello, I'm Ava St. Clair, and this is another follow-up video to the previous one that talked about these two different archetypes, the Hierophant and the High Priestess. I should tell everyone that there are other archetypes in the deck that can serve for the same argument, but these I prefer to use the most. Um, and I wanted to talk a little bit about what it looks like in the toxic for both the feminine and the masculine. This character in the masculine is the one that we're typically pretty familiar with. This is like Wolf of Wall Street, you know, over hyper masculine Scarface type foolishness. In this sort of tactical, there'll be a follow up infographic for this. But we know this type, very brash, very brute, very act first, no questions ever kind of a personality, tend to be very logical, or will at least use logic, science, math, etc., to justify wrongdoing or evil, or to you'll sometimes if again, this being in a toxic, not the balance, in the toxic realm, you'll have a lot of very circular arguments and conversations. You start here and then you sort of work your way up and you think you're getting somewhere, and you're right back worse than what you started. These kinds of mind games. That's what that looks like in the more toxic way. So there's a strategic toxic, or a covert. They call them covert narcissists in their worst ways. But the quieter ones will use their minds to kind of to manipulate and smoke and mirrors situations. The more tactical types are typically physically abusive. They're very stupid, but they what they're saying sounds logical because it sounds like logic, but it isn't. It's very sort of like in your face, big giant oversized trucks and ammo, and this kind of thing. There are different personality types and demographics that kind of sprinkle themselves all on the spectrum. But for the strategic type, they tend to, especially even in work environments, there's just something going on that's not quite right. And there's always a lot of drama and people going at each other. And this person might just be kind of in the background, unnoticed. They cause a lot of issues. And again, in the tactical way, they're very brash, big, whatever. And that's the male side. On the feminine side, when they're quiet and toxic and the strategic, it's the same thing. The one chick in the 4-girl group that is, throw the rock, hide the hand. Somehow all kinds of stuff is happening. Boyfriends are, cheating and whatever the hell else is going on. She's nowhere to be found, and the other three are fighting. The other one that she might have is the very demure, super quiet girl who's, oh, I'm just little old me, don't mind me kind of a thing. But she's constantly needing to be stroked. Oh, it's gonna be okay, girl. You got it. You got this. You're strong. There's always some shit going on, and she's just drawing people's energy to kind of help her feel better. This in romantic situations is so common. She was fine when she left the house 10 minutes ago. She come back, she got that look on her face, and you're like, oh shit, like something's wrong. Like that's this kind. On the tactical side of the toxic of this personality in the feminine, you will have, you take her out to dinner and you think everything's going well. You've done everything that you possibly can to make sure that dinner goes well. And lo and behold, ain't enough damn ice in the cup. Oh, ain't enough steam coming off the crab legs, or oh, the waiter took too long, and she want her money back, and all of this drama stuff to basically feel her self-worth, to feel her power in the moment. Toxic, tactile, feminine, Hierophant types. In the workplace, they're more like the Devil Wears Prada. What was it? Wall Street or Glen I was getting too mixed up. One or the other. Yeah. So that's what it looks like in the feminine. And in the feminine on this side of the spectrum, they tend to attract men who are more this way. more soft, responsive thinking, this kind of thing. This in the feminine, when it's balanced, is really they're nurturing leaders. They're tough love. They are order first, relationships second. But once that relationship is established, it's forever. That loyalty is forever. That's what it looks like in the balance for the feminine. They're very beautiful. Well, anybody balanced is beautiful, but these are really hard won personal growth stretches that these personalities have to do, especially for women who tend to be more in the STEM, hard maths, sciences, who also tend to be naturally more aggressive. They've had a very difficult time because not only does society not like for women to be in that role or has historically not appreciated it, but society also calls for that, as we've discussed, to survive. So it's easy for these types to get out of balance because it's a very precarious balance to keep. And when they're out of balance, they're a hot, nutty ass mess, just crazy, because they're being pulled and being asked to be so many different things at once. So that's this type. High priestess type. In the more toxic type here, can sometimes take on the same strategery thing as the toxic types there, but what they will do is they're worse because they will pull in information. They have a very peaked intuition. They can get into places in your soul and heart and mind that you didn't know you had and twist it up very badly in the toxic. And as masculines, I've seen this, I hate to say this, but it's the one thing that's coming to my mind. You talk about the hoteps, these boho type. Boho would be more so like white culture, hotep being more black culture, but them types right there will screw you up because they have a very open reception for the esoteric and know how to use that in order to manipulate their way through situations, and will typically come out of the situation as victim, right? So that's what that looks like in the masculine sort of toxic. And the feminine toxic is the same way, but this is even very more dangerous because mothers. Mothers who, instead of using their nurturing senses and sensibilities to feed their children or to feed other people in their surroundings, and this could be mothers of like who have children or mothers who just have that type in them, but they will use those sensibilities to manipulate people into doing things that they want. And so it's something to definitely look forward to. Something to definitely look out for. Don't look forward to, it's not a good feeling. Look out for. There's also a lot more that's happening in the spiritual community, charlatans, gurus, oh, I'm this person, I'm that person, da, 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 da. And the weird thing about it, what makes it so confusing is that they're correct. They're not lying to you. If they say that they can see something, if they say that they know how to do something, if they say energy clearing, right, whatever, they got it. The question is going to be whether or not they use it for yours or in service of others. So that's kind of what you need to look for when you're talking about these in the toxic realm. And I'll do my best to do an infographic so it looks like it makes some sense, but you'll kind of see this in both men and women. It doesn't really matter, balanced, imbalanced, toxic, not toxic, swapped, whatever. This is typically what that looks like. But the goal is to have these aligned, have these side by side, both in you, in your partner, or partners, depending on what your situation is, and within the the organization or institution or whatever that you all are trying to move forward. So again, hope that helps. I will do as many of these as I can possibly get out. So yeah, just keep asking questions, sharing, doing whatever you need to do. I'll talk to y'all soon.